What's up everybody and welcome to Inside the Game, your one source for everything cool in video games. You can always be a part of our show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up on Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. What's coming up on today's episode? Well, here it is. It's the rundown.
And it kind of reminds me of like back in the day playing the old Nintendo games, the family get together and just get your Wii remotes or Wii controllers and just play that kind of split screen.
When it comes to the world of PC gaming, a mouse is pivotal. Housemarque's newest title is incredible. Returnal is what Resogun would be outside of the ship.
Alright, so now that you're kitted up, let's get into the PvE, because this game is quite intimidating as a newcomer. There are all sorts of creatures that are trying to kill you the entire time.
There's a plethora of weapons, Steve. Everything in this game is either destructible, you can pick it up, you can use it as a weapon, anything from your fist to a carrot, man.
Well, no time to waste. Let's get started. Sometimes it just takes two.
Well, Steve, it takes two to review this one. What a wild time.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Hakim, you have to help me now. They have to stay together.
Alright, Steve, we got our hands on the latest title from Hazelight. It Takes Two. These guys are pretty known for their co-op only games. And this one, man, I think surpasses everything that I've seen to date from these guys. It Takes Two is sort of a romantic comedy action adventure game, man, that literally dips its toes in every genre of game I could pretty much think of, man. So, heading into it, what did you think, dude?
I absolutely love this game. I have to say the absolute beginning of the cutscene, when the premises for the storyline, got me hooked straight away.
Yeah.
It had all the emotions. It feels like someone in your life has already been through this kind of scenario, and it's sort of very relatable to it. Mm-hmm. And then you start off as these two dolls, Cody and May, which is the mother and father of the daughter Rose, who's upset, and her teardrops basically transformed their parents into her dolls to help build a relationship from a book of the Book of Love.
The Book of Love.
It was absolutely quirky, and what a character.
Oh man, that's just it. Like right away it grips you with emotion and it just really sets the tone, but then as soon as the Book of Love comes into play, it just adds a sense of humor. And I found throughout the whole game, man, it's just a steady pace of gameplay into cutscene that usually the cutscenes will make you laugh or again just kind of tug those heartstrings. It's just wonderful, man.
Yeah, and it strings everything together. The cutscenes, the comical little interactions that husband and wife when they're going through a separation or divorce, and the little bittiness and picking holes and stuff like that. But I have to say, first off, when you sort of mentioned about the split screen, so you can either play couch co-op, just have another controller, or what I did was they actually have a friend Game Pass that is actually from the Microsoft Store. It's free to download, so the other person downloads that. As long as someone has the main game, they can just join in and jump in and help you complete this game, because it is so much fun. And it kind of reminds me, the graphical style reminds me of like a Pixar movie. And I find that's when sort of like watching the cutscenes, I'm actually more excited, like watching what's going to happen next, and then before you know it, you have to do something.
Yeah, man, you meet all sorts of funny characters like the squirrels and the bumblebee. Like, it's just, it has that Pixar feel, and like you said, the accessibility with this game is awesome. I played this solely with my girlfriend, couch co-op. You'd played it with your buddy using the friend pass. This game, man, they just wanted people to play it, and actually the most recent numbers we got, they've hit over 1 million in in sales. That's incredible, man. That's over 1 million people playing this game. So good job on them, right?
Yeah, and it's definitely like a breath of fresh air. I mean, 'cause there's so many open world games out, survivals or loot and shooters kind of thing, and it kind of reminds me of like back in the day playing the old Nintendo games. The family get together and just get your Wii remotes or Wii controllers and just play that kind of split screen kind of feel of game. And it was so smooth, I have to say, all the transition, because apart from it just being like a 3D game, there was also side platform, top down as well, depending on what you're doing, if there's a boss battle or if it's just actually trying to get to Rose. Basically the premises of the game is, the idea is you have to get to Rose and you have all these obstacles, so you do actually start off in Rose's bedroom. So you can imagine it's like Honey, You Shrunk the Kids, and everything's on large scale, and you just bounce off things. And there's also another little touch they added as well, is little mini games.
Yes.
Throughout the different areas.
Yeah, man, like that. Again, like you said, the variety in this game. You know, you go from, like you said, top down to then your third person action adventure classic perspective. But while you're traversing, you find these random mini games, and it's, you know, some of them are just like a tug of war thing, or the other ones, you know, like the one that I really had fun with was where I was on top trying to shoot the targets, and Daniela, my girlfriend, was down below trying to hammer them down below.
Yes.
So like it's just a silly little, you know, things to kind of spice up the gameplay again. Because again, dude, there's silly parts where you're flying or you're grinding along this path, and you know, you have to jump from side to side. It reminded me of Donkey Kong back in the Super Nintendo, man, some of these parts. And then you got like fighting sections like Mortal Kombat. It's hilarious, and I think everybody needs to check this thing out.
Yeah, and definitely, and even like the fact of when you're just moving like to the next part of the game, is they have that little interaction of like blaming each other for something, or just sort of say, we've got to get to Rose. And I thought just that the little touch just keeps you immersed in the game as well. And like, moving forward, I think I got to like the cuckoo clock is a part I've sort of got to at the moment. And visually that was so stunning, with all the shadows of the cogs and the pendulums. And again, you jumping from one point to another, and also the other thing we have not mentioned as well is each chapter you get a different ability.
That's what I thought. Again, like spicing up that gameplay. It kind of starts you off with the Cody having the nail and May having the hammer, so you often have to work together and time like throwing the nails, and then so that she can then use them to jump with the hammer. That's just the first part. As you move on through the story, you then get more mechanics, and they, like I said, constantly are throwing new things at you, man. It's not like you're forced to use this one mechanic throughout the whole game. They pretty much just say goodbye, move on to the next thing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, another part I did like as well is you actually go into the magical world, and I think you dress up as like a wizard and that kind of thing. So one of your abilities is you can free stuff and things like that. Oh, and that's it. And the other one was you can clone yourself, was the other ability of May.
Oh man.
So you can move somewhere, clone yourself, go back, and then you can progress by some of the puzzles. I have to say, I also did love the puzzles in this game.
Yeah, man, this whole game is just so imaginative, both visually and just the gameplay. Everything about this is fantastic.
Oh yes. So, would you like to score this one then, Nate?
I think so, man. I think we pretty much I don't know if we've really complained about anything, and I guess if I'm gonna have to score this, there's one tiny little thing I could complain about, is that maybe Cody's character is a little bit too whiny at times. It wasn't too bad, but just all in all, I found he was just more of the whiny guy the entire time. But that all aside, the mechanics of this game, the visuals are next to none, man. 9.5 from me.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm kind of with you on everything you've said. The visually, the quirky voiceovers, the characters, even like Rose, got me a bit tearful on some points on the cutscenes. Everything worked together. Couch co-op, online multiplayer, breath of fresh air. I'm giving this a 9.5.
It Takes Two is the perfect co-op experience. A blend of just about every style of game crammed into a heartfelt story. The graphics and the world created are beyond imaginative. From traversing through vast open areas to small tiny caves, you are often left admiring the scenery. And to top off this ultimate experience, the developers were generous enough to offer the Friend Pass, enabling you to play and share this game with your friends.
Look, it's Rose! Rose! Honey! Rose! She can't hear us.
Oh no.
Over the past few weeks, I've been checking out some new gear for the PC. That's right, let's check out the SteelSeries Rival 650 wireless mouse. When it comes to the world of PC gaming, a mouse is pivotal. Whether or not you're looking for a lightweight, heavyweight, or something that's just smooth and accessible, it definitely can help hinder or advance you in the world of gaming. The SteelSeries Rival 650 is definitely a bigger mouse compared to my previous ones I've used in the past. It is a little bit bigger, but it fits my hand perfectly. There are a couple things I do like about the mouse. It's smooth, the texture around the mouse itself is fluid, it doesn't slip out of my hands, it's constantly in grips, and it actually has weight comfort to it. What I mean by that is the ability to take off the side panels on the mouse and adjust your weight accordingly. Whether you need the weight to be a little heavier so it doesn't slip away from you, or lose out some of those weights and you'll be able to glide a little bit faster. Depending on your game preference, I actually added 2 4-gram weights per side on the mouse, giving me a little bit of a heftier feel, and it seems to fit my playstyle perfectly well. The one complaint I do have about the mouse is the actual location of the front button for the thumb location. That first button for your thumb is a little further away than I would like to see. You'd almost have to palm the entire mouse to get up on it, and it's not really where I would prefer to hold the mouse in my hand. It tends to sit in the palm of my hands versus me being right on top of the mouse. One of the highlights that come with the mouse that you can actually download is the SteelSeries Engine 3, which allows you to completely customize the sensitivity, button locations, colors, and more with your mouse. Whether you want to adjust the pull rate, the speed of hand movement, or the CPI sensitivity is completely up to you and customizable, right down to the colors. You know I had to rock the ITG blue. The Rival 650 has been a fantastic addition from SteelSeries added to my PC setup. The ability to go wireless or have it tethered is completely up to me. A simple 15-minute charge will get me well over 10 hours of game time, or if I want to go on a full charge, then we've got lots more ahead of us with well over 24 hours. The ability to add weight or take it off I thought was a fantastic touch, something I wasn't quite expecting when I actually grabbed the mouse. The ability now is on me whether or not I want to have a heavier feel or that lightweight experience, something I've never really seen before, and I'm very thankful for it. That'll wrap up my time with the Rival 650 wireless mouse by SteelSeries, and it comes with a highly recommend. This thing is awesome, and of course, the ability to adjust your weight or rock that ITG colors, man, I'm all in. This thing is smooth, responsive, and everything a gaming mouse should be. I'm there with an 8.5. Comfort in the palm of my hand, smooth 2.4 GHz wireless pinpoint precision with the added feature of extra weight, custom mouse options, and more makes the Rival 650 great. Just needed that thumb button a little bit closer. I'm reviewing a PlayStation 5 exclusive you're not gonna want to miss.
Astra, is anyone listening? It's Celine. I've crashed on Atropos. Suit status operational, but my sidearm is missing. Heading towards White Shadow Broadcast.
I've gone hands-on with a bullet roguelike title, something I've never really played like this at all. Talking about Returnal, this is Housemarque. They are back, and to be honest, Housemarque's newest title is incredible. Returnal is what Resogun would be outside of the ship. I kid you not. This is absolute chaos, a ton of fun, and tough. Like tough to the extent of super hard, very punishing. If you like these types of games, you're definitely not going to want to miss it on this one. Housemarque has actually created their own genre. This roguelike bullet hell title is something that's very surprising. The bullet hell mechanic is something that's really kind of hooked me. I'm not a fan of roguelites whatsoever. I find them just too tough and irritating because I just don't want to get bashed over and over and over again. However, the bullet hell mechanic behind the game though keeps driving me forward and pushing me. You get to the sense of once you finish the area, because every area you're in could be your last life. This is it. You only get one life. Push hard, push tough. Can you complete it? And sometimes you sneak away just with a sliver of health. And other times you don't. And then you're scrambling. You start all over again and then repeat the process. Best part is, every time you jump in, it's always different. I'm never experiencing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I'm seeing the same enemies. I'm into the same familiar areas, but the way the map kind of portrays itself as you unfold is always different. So I'm not going into the same corridor. I can't normally expect which way the enemy's just going to spawn in and then just light them up. It doesn't work that way. It's always new, always fresh, and just engaging, and it's creepy. So creepy, but so cool. The horror mechanic, don't really see that too much here. It's more just the creeping eeriness of the game, and it's beautiful. Housemarque, focusing on the PlayStation 5, really showcases the power of the PlayStation 5 itself and the DualSense controller. Absolutely need to touch on the DualSense controller. The haptic feedback in the game allows you the ability to zoom in with the L2 or go all the way to give your alt fire with your gun. Very cool mechanic. The rumble sensation with the DualSense is such a highlight. It's so subtle. They've done this thing magically well. The raindrops you can feel on your suit. Then all of a sudden it pours. And then you're getting hit by other bullets and other creatures. And then everything just intensifies. The music in the audio in the game is just like a score of no other. Bullet hell mechanics with a roguelike sensation for Returnal is definitely one of my top titles this year. The mysteries around the world of why Celine is there on this planet and what is going on. Why are these symbiotes here? What is the purpose of her reliving her memories and then encountering her own corpse as she travels back into the world is so well mastered and is so perfected that it just brings you the sense of subtle story, yet with this gameplay mechanic, and it's just a huge loop. It keeps me going forward. Again, not my style, but definitely one I can't seem to put down.
Considerable defense.
One life is the name of the game here with Returnal. It is that simple. You are out there to survive, and the way you power up and get new abilities, new guns, new mechanics, you find them out in the world. And no, you don't bring those back with you. You start from scratch all over again. And it's kind of one of the highlights that pushes the game, because you want to keep going out and exploring new areas and new zones to find out what else you can find around the corner to help you push and survive to get into that next area and ultimately the boss. And then, well, if you're able to survive that one, it's definitely one of the highlights. It's one of those moments that I actually kind of cheered sitting in my seat once I was able to beat the boss. Housemarque has absolutely nailed this for PlayStation 5. If you have a PlayStation 5, you owe it to yourself to play this game. For me, Returnal scores a high one. It's there with a 10. A masterpiece set upon a mysterious world. You have one life to live, so give it everything you have, and it will reward you. Returnal is a must-have.
Alright, this week for Level Up, I'm talking about Hunt Showdown. Now, I talked about this in last week's episode, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned a few times that this was a very difficult game. So, this is going to be a little bit of a starter's guide to kind of help you more so with the PvE side of things. So, starting things off, your loadout. That's a pretty important thing to have figured out. And here's a few tools that you should always bring with you. Firstly, as a starter, use the electric lamp. If you extract twice with the bounty, you then unlock fuses, which are really handy for taking out Hive or any sort of those pesky creatures that I'll touch up on later. Next, you need to bring a melee weapon. Now, I'd suggest bringing both knuckle braces and a knife. But if you can't, just make sure to bring at least a knife. There are a lot of enemies that you need to engage with close combat, and if you don't have a melee weapon, the butt end of your weapon is just not enough. Next, this is kind of a given, but a first aid kit. You absolutely need to bring this every time. It is 3 times that you get to heal while outside of combat or in combat, so this comes in real handy. And leading up to that is the weak vitality shot. This is cheap and is a really quick way to get healing while you're in the midst of a really heat engagement. Now, the next two I'm going to mention are kind of a bit of a bonus. First one being, bring some sort of explosive. They are very handy for flushing out hunters or killing any sort of enemies when you're in a bit of a tight situation. Always or just try to bring some sort of explosive. And the next one being the weak antidote shot. Now, you don't unlock this until around 48 when you get the poison bomb. You then need to use the poison bomb 5 times to get the weak antidote shot. But you're wondering, what's so good about this weak antidote shot? Well, it gives you 30 minutes of freedom of poison. That's right, poison is a real pain in this game, and just a cheap weak antidote shot gives you a 30-minute timer to not have to worry about it. Alright, so now that you're kitted up, let's get into the PvE, because this game is quite intimidating as a newcomer. There are all sorts of creatures that are trying to kill you the entire time. So first and foremost, let's start with the Hellhounds. These things avoid at all cost. They are unpredictable in their attacks. They sometimes come in 1 to 2 to like 6 or 7 I've seen at once. Just try to avoid these things at all costs, and if you do engage, use a melee weapon. You kind of need to be aggressive because, like I said, their attacks are very unpredictable, so just kind of run up and just melee them. Next, the Immolator. These flamey turds, they are very frustrating, especially as a newcomer, because you don't really understand how to kill them. But here's the trick. You cannot penetrate their skin or else they explode instantly and then set everything on fire around them, and then if they go and attack you, they will set you on fire. So how you get past this is again with those knuckle braces that I mentioned earlier. If you bring those, it's 3 heavy strikes to kill it, but if you don't, it is 4 heavy strikes with the butt end of your weapon. But again, avoid those guys if you can at all costs, because they are loud and they are aggressive. But okay, let's talk about the hive now. These fly, buggy, annoying creatures, the best way to take them out is either sneak up on them with a melee weapon like your knife. It's just a one shot if you hit them in the head. And then otherwise, if they're in a spot where you can't really reach them with your knife, that's where I was talking about bringing fuses. You can throw them from a fairly good distance and take them out. But even the best thing is, once you've used the fuses enough to get, I think it's 1000 XP with it, you then get the flare pistol, which is a fairly quiet and reliable way to take them down. Okay, the meatheads. These tanks, as we like to call them as we're playing this game, because, you know, Left 4 Dead has kind of ruined everything. But the meatheads, just avoid these things. Your guns do something like 80% less damage against them. So if you can, I guess, just melee them. But truthfully, just avoid them. Their slugs will poison you, and then that thing will chase you until the poison is gone. So just avoid them, avoid them, avoid them. Alright, and now the armored, they come in 2 forms, one form of which is not too bad. You just need to basically hit it 4 times with the heavy strike with your knife, or 4 times with your knuckle braces, or I think it's like 5 times with your heavy butt end weapon. Ultimately, you just need to get the push on them, because if they do hit you, they hit you pretty hard. But ultimately, the worst form of these guys is the ones that are wrapped in barbed wire. If they strike you, they take almost half of your health and cause bleeding damage, and then keep attacking you. So the best way to take these guys out, again, is with those fuses or the flare pistol. Now the last bit of advice I'm going to give you guys is how to take down the bosses, because again, this is another intimidating task to take upon. I've been killed by the bosses many times, both in solo or in group play. It doesn't matter, they are tough. But here, this is the trick. If you can, you need to find a 2-handed melee weapon that is within the area. This weapon right here, any of which, a pitchfork, a shovel, a warhammer, it doesn't matter what it is, grab it, and it does a lot of damage against these bosses. Shooting them, yes, you can do it, but it's very loud and wastes your ammo, and ultimately just doesn't do as much damage. The trick here is to run in, hit them once, maybe twice, or 3 times if you're feeling really brave, but ultimately once or twice, and then run back out, because it usually gets in a rage and after you stun it, and then you have a chance to escape without getting hit. Because when it hits you with a heavy strike, that's half your health gone, plus burning, bleeding, or poison depending on what you're fighting. And I guess once you finally unlock the sticky bomb, it doesn't take too long to get this thing unlocked, but this is an essential tool to taking down most of the bosses. The only one that you really can't is the assassin, because it kind of just vanishes and is so hard to stick with a sticky grenade. But all the other ones, if you can, that's 3/4 of its health gone. So essential, bring a sticky bomb and find a 2-handed weapon to take down the bosses. Alright, well, I really hope this helps you get started in Hunt Showdown. This game is tough, but I promise you it is very rewarding. I'm already Prestige 2 and well into it. I was held back on Prestige 1 just so I could get one of those achievements, and I finally did. With that all to say, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know if you have some more tips. And if you do, hit us up on our Discord or of course on our website.
Steve, this week we're getting back up and falling down and getting back up and falling down again. Let's check this one out. Steve, we're checking out Bloodroots on PC this week. This is a top-down action brawler, one hit, one kill, one hit, one death kind of game. This is a game, I don't know, we've never reviewed a game like this. I've played a couple games in genre like this, and this one has been a lot of fun. It's, you know, fast-paced, there's a ton of action, we have this kind of cool cartoony art style that they play off of, and it does a pretty good job. It's a very bloody game, so I just want to get that out of the way first. I mean, there's a lot of blood and gore here, but they do, again, it's cartoony, so it's just more cartoon violence than anything else. But this one, jumping in, I don't know if you've played a lot of games like this, Steve. What did you think jumping into Bloodroots?
Well, only one word can describe this word: addictive. I have to say, the good thing about it, there's not too many cumbersome controls on it. You can either use your mouse and keyboard, WASD. I think it is right to pick up stuff and on the mouse, and left click to activate the weapon or what you're using. I had trouble with that to start off with because, like you said, it's very fast paced. There's a lot happening, and in some instances you're on a bit of a time limit. You have to get through it pretty quick. So I actually did jump on the Xbox controller for this one, and that does make a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to say, I absolutely loved it. There's not much of a story. It's just basically based on revenge, and you just basically have to hack and slash everything, all the bad enemies, to get to the boss to find out who killed you. But one thing I did enjoy, and I'm sure you're going to elaborate on this a bit more, the amount of weapons you can use in this game.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a plethora of weapons, Steve. Everything in this game is either destructible, you can pick it up, you can use it as a weapon, anything from your fist to a carrot, man. There's so many different kinds of weapons, and that's what really adds to the variety of this game. For the most part, we deal with a lot of the same enemies throughout this, other than some of the bosses. There are a few elite-style enemies as you go through that do have some different abilities that are a little more difficult. But for the most part, this game's all about the weapons that you pick up and use. Every weapon has a limited number of times it can be used, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, and every weapon's a little bit different. It could be hand-to-hand combat, it could just be a thrown weapon like a pot or, you know, a spear. There's guns, I mean, there's chainsaws, grappling hooks. I mean, there's so many different kinds of weapons here, Steve, and that's really what makes this game so much more fun, because as you play through these levels, you die just as quickly as you're killing the enemies. I mean, you can be running through a certain area, and the idea is to clear the area, and then you get to unlock that next area and move on. So if you die on that last enemy, you've got to restart that whole area again. And what I did find in this game is that some areas tend to be larger than others, or at least take longer to clear. And that's where it felt like the difficulty kind of ramped up, because you're sitting there and you're getting through all these enemies, and some of these areas seem to go fairly quickly and you're moving through them pretty fast, but then you get stuck on that one that has maybe, you know, 5 or 6 more enemies, or a larger enemy mixed in with a couple other things, and you know, it adds to that, you know, challenge. But at the same time, it can be really frustrating because you're just always dying. I mean, when I complete a level, it shows you how many times you died. I'm up in the 40s, the 50s, and it's just like, oh, okay, you still feel good that you get through, and there is that sense of achievement when it happens. But man, this game beats you up.
Oh yes. And like you said, I do love the idea as well. You're not on lives. You don't have like 5 lives or 3 lives, and you have to start again. Yes, as soon as you die, you have to start that chapter bit again, or that way the last progress was. But it's so quick to respawn. And I found that what was happening was when I die, I'll be like a speed runner, and I kept dying on the same things again.
Yeah.
And how frustrating it was. It's like, it worked the first time, and I did notice as well, as you progress, the enemies get a little bit harder as well. You also get sniper rifles that like gathered on the map, and then you see the line of where they're going to shoot, and they got like a gun, and boy, there's so much happening. There's spikes on the ground that you can only get across by actually picking up a barrel and walking on it, and then you can actually flip the barrel and shoot it at an enemy that'll squash them, and It's so quick and hectic. It's manic, but oh my god, it is so much fun. And unfortunately, I've just got to the point of like the first boss, because it's not lack of putting the hours in, it's how hard it can be sometimes. And it's good to remember the route you take and what works for you the first time, because it does come in handy, because I got past the stage in that first boss, but then I got to the next bit and I died and I had to do it all over again. And which was brutal.
Oh,
But I do love the cutscenes. Like when you finish the last enemy from that act, because bearing in mind in this story, I believe there's is it four sessions in per act or something like that.
Yeah, it's about 4 to 5, I think, depending on which one it is. And
And I think the whole game is 4 acts, about 8 hours long. And you will, I'm going to be longer than 8 hours on this one, but I did love the cutscenes. When you finish that area off, then you get nice cinematic, cartoony of your character, how he does the finishing move, almost kind of like a Mortal Kombat, but not too much in depth. And it kind of reminds me of the graphical style of like Dexter's Laboratories, if you remember the Nickelodeon kind of that cartoony kind of feel to it, which
for sure.
I think it definitely makes this game stand out. And at that point, I did really enjoy the graphical style and the music.
Oh yeah, the music in this game, man, it carries you on. Like the environment we're in is kind of this, they label it Weird West. It's kind of this old Western style, so we get a lot of Western type music, but it has this kind of funky style to it, right? Everything about this game is very stylized. There is a lot of style, especially like you said, when you have these finishing moves. Whatever weapon you may be using to finish off that last character will play in that cutscene, and everything's just a little bit different, whether you're using your fists or a barrel, like you said. So this game just oozes that style, and I think that's really what envelops people here and gets them really immersed in this game. But Steve, I'm telling you, I think we could talk about this one a little bit more, but we'd just be gushing. This game is a ton of fun. It's only $20 on Steam. It's available on all platforms, so it's a hard one, to miss. I think a lot of people may not hear about it at first, but if you let people know about this game, I don't think they're gonna have a hard time playing it. I think they're gonna have a ton of fun with the challenge. If you got a score, Bloodroots, what are you gonna give it, Steve?
Ooh, I've been thinking about this morning, and to be honest with you, I do love the game. I definitely think it's definitely more. Be handy for the handheld, like on the Switch, a game on the go or even if you're in the washroom and you just sort of like just get in there and just away you go. So on those bases as well, and I did love the game, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
All right, you know what? I'm right up there with you too. I enjoyed this game from start to finish. The boss battles were a ton of fun. The challenges, it's what drives you through this game. It is hard. Yes, it's not going to be easy. You're going to die a lot. But being able to jump back in with 0 pause was really what kept me going in this game, right? And the fact is, you can just jump in and jump out if you want to. You don't have to put in long play sessions. That's the beauty of this game. So honestly, Steve, I don't have too much gripe about this game. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Bloodroots is a fun, very addictive top-down hack-and-slash game, with plenty of arsenal at your disposal. The stylish graphics and the funky Wild West music adds to the enjoyment to this game. The quick respawn once you die makes you want to keep on going.
The guys and I were live earlier this week over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg. We're there, we were kicking it old school, checking out some Halo Master Chief Collection.
I gotta get the controls down again. I looked at them earlier, so I would get locked in
Drew
again.
mouse and keys, this guy.
No, I got a controller in. So here's how it goes. You guys are like, hey, let's play Halo this week. I went, man, I am not downloading this game again to my console.
yeah.
The Series X has no space. Like, straight up, I got no space on that thing. I went PC, downloaded it because of the Ultimate Game Pass, and that's where I'm at.
Accessibility. Versatility.
That's right. That's how we
man,
rock
this
it.
is a lot louder than I needed it.
Yeah, me too.
Yikes.
Just that. Okay, how do I play again? What are we
Oh,
playing?
I'm not moving. My guy's
Halo?
not moving. Oh no. I may have to go. I'm mouse and keyboard. Why am I mouse and keyboard?
You are mouse and keyboard. That's what I thought.
Man, that's not what I wanted. I'll have to figure it out. Lost the lead already.
This Battlefield or Battlefield Halo 4. Man, I'm getting my games crossed today.
Oh no. Oh.
It's a weird game of NHL, guys.
Oh.
Something's not right. Yeah.
Oh man, get out of here, bro.
Oh, it is Halo 4. Okay.
There.
Oh, I was right in the middle. Don't go in the middle. That's fine. Man, I'm so not used to the controls.
I am getting wiped out. Oh, yo, this guy's got a sniper rifle. I'm in trouble. Load it. Oh, why can't? Oh, it's just so quick. All right, this guy's a little bit of growing pains here again, guys. A little bit of growing pains here.
Every 1v1. Just keep getting cheated.
Oh man, I can't get anything going.
I might have that one. There it is.
Oh, there you go. Nice, Scott.
Combo.
Well, I fell. I'm not a mouse and keyboard player, man.
Oh, come on. I ran out of ammo. Left bumper sprint.
Yo, this is not very good odds. Next time I'll download it on Xbox. Gotcha. Oh no!
You should be able to select it though. It gives you the option in game.
It did at the beginning.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I went in and set it. It's still not working. Oh well.
Oh man, I'm just getting wiped out here. That's the problem.
A little bit.
Yikes.
Not
Double
sure.
kill, killjoy. Ah!
What the? I'm looking for that run button. Ah.
Left bumper.
Oh yeah? How about on keyboard?
Oh,
Shift.
never mind.
It's C. It's all good. I got it. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
See the sprint? That's weird.
Yeah, shift. You think it would be shift?
Oh, Nate, there's a guy coming around backside down low.
I don't know if you guys can hear that dog, but it's been barking for like steadily for like
No, I can't.
2 years now, and
2 years.
I'm gonna go set that thing free one day.
Where's my double jump?
Right to the back of the head. Dig it. Oh no, where'd he go? Oh!
Should have customized my loadout here. I don't want to use a battle rifle.
Yeah, I know. I gotta change this up a bit.
no.
Maybe we take a quick pauser before the next round. Just get that sorted out.
Yeah, maybe I can get my build back.
Oh man, I keep trying to double jump.
Oh, no
Halo.
way.
Oh, no way. Oh,
Or
good.
Halo Destiny. New. Oh.
Destiny.
Ooh, a beam rifle. Don't mind if I... Can I pick it up?
Ow. Man.
Oh, I almost scraped that together. I got an overskill round.
Oh, man, I'm getting...
All right, boys.
Done
Team together.
Yeah, I'm trying to team up with you guys here. Nice shooting, Nate. We got 2 over here, Nate. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Maybe pushing.
Wow.
Oh no, he's right here. Oh man.
Got you right in the top of the
assassinating me
head.
around that corner.
Come on. Oh. Get that.
Oh.
I'm beeping, I'm beeping, I'm beeping.
Nice. Thanks for cleaning them up.
Up top, middle. Oh, there's two. There's two. Yikes! I'm in trouble. Nice, nice. Oh, that nade got me. No way.
Ah. Oh, man.
Let's go.
Ah,
Get out my way.
I always do. I can't wait to play Halo Infinite, guys. I think it's gonna be great.
Halo Infinite. Ooh, double
Yeah.
kill. Take it. I'll take it.
Nice.
Oh,
All right, I think
man.
we're turning the tides here a little bit, boys.
Whoa, I got great.
Oh, you just got white, dude. I saw that. Yikes.
I was doing so well.
Team up on this guy. Oh, no.
Oh, but me.
Nice. Good job, guys.
In
Trying
front
to
of
get
me?
back up.
Watch out.
You're going around?
Above. Let's just keep trying to throw the nades at him.
Oh, I got a melee. Man. Yo, what's up, Zub? How you doing, man? You were kicking it old school tonight.
Yeah.
He went up. Where'd he go?
He's center up top. Oh, he got me. Oh, I ripped him good, though. Watch that nade.
Punch the face, baby.
Oh, to the right. Oh, he's crouched.
I was Garbaggio there. Sorry, guys.
Oh, boy.
Dude,
It almost
we were
came back, though.
close.
It was close.
That was close. That was close. I got used to these PC controls. That's it. I'm going over the
PC.
master race now. I'm out of here, boys. You'll never see me again on console.
Just toss the controller away.
That's nah, no. I love my controllers. Hey, where
This
do
guy's
we
crazy.
see how we did?
All right, Corey. This year we're swinging out of the parks, except on the Series X.
Money in case, clean up base, pick up the pace. I'm out of chase. Money in case, clean up base. Gotta call wood if you got it. Ain't no stopping on the go. Gotta call wood if you got it. Going live, going in the show. Pick up the pace. Step on the dick. You need to stretch. Mama the truth, playing it cool, wipe out the sweat. Get in the zone, pick on the throne, I'm on the base.
All right, Corey, this year we got our hands on MLB The Show 21, and I've played this the last couple years on PlayStation, but this year we got our hands on it on Xbox via Game Pass. So, man, okay, what did you think hopping into MLB The Show for your first time this year?
Well, you know what? I've played the show in the past, and it's sporadically. I've never owned the game. It's just been a game I've played at a friend's house or something like that. And it's always been, known as the top quality baseball game. It's if you want to play a baseball game, you got to play the show. And us Xbox guys have, we've been struggling. We play RBI baseball, we play stuff like that, but we've never had the show. And the fact that we got it this year on Xbox and through Game Pass, so I mean, let's get real, it was basically free at this point. With all the games you get, you're getting the value back for what you're paying for Game Pass. So it's, opening up this game to so many more players. And we're going to touch on a little bit later, but we've got cross-platform. We've got cross-progression. These are huge things to kind of introduce into a game that was just kind of so confined to that Sony world. And, I love it. This game is awesome, and I'm having so much fun. And the fact that all my friends now on Xbox have this game, and we're all playing it together. We've actually started an ITG baseball league, and I think this is going to be a ton of fun. I mean, this game is just the fact that it's being, you know, so available this year for everybody, I think is really what's going to give it the most points here. Because I think once we get deeper into this review, we're really going to reveal, you know, we are just talking about another sports game, and it's in a sports game that has dominated its, you know, niche part of the market. There isn't any other competition out there for baseball games. So I mean, the show does fall into a lot of these other sports titles where we start to get, you know, a little coasty from years to years. But we do have some new features if you want to kind of jump into some of those, Nate.
All right, well, I think one of the biggest and newest features that we have is the Stadium Creator that's available on the next-gen consoles. This is really cool, you know, for a lot of people that like to, you know, bring out their creative edge. The Stadium Creator actually has a lot of depth. It can be both simple, so if you just want to kind of build a basic one with some couple of your ideas, then you can. Or if you really want to get in depth with different types of fields and stages and it gets out of, like, dude, there are actually a ton of options. I spent about a half an hour just looking through just to see what they offer, and there is a ton here, man. It is actually really exciting.
The game modes here, jumping in, we've got 4 main ones. We've got Road to the Show, which is kind of your be a pro. We go through the story of, you know, starting in the ranks and then working your way up and hopefully making it to the show, making it to the MLB. And then we've got Franchise, which you looked at. There's also March to October, which is kind of a condensed game version of a season where you kind of play through, you know, chunks of games as you kind of work your way towards the playoffs. And the last game mode, Diamond Dynasty, is your ultimate team mode. It's where you collect card packs, you build your team, and you know, there's chemistries, all that kind of stuff. It's a cool game mode. A lot of people really get into this. You know, it's kind of where I'm going to start our bit of a gripe train here. We do get into these microtransactions. We get into card packs, we get into all that kind of stuff, and that is what these game modes are about. People do really enjoy it. They don't mind spending their hard-earned cash on buying card packs that hopefully they'll get those super rare cards they were looking for. But, you know, this game is like any other sports game, Nate. It does have its issues. I know you had a few in Franchise, so if you want to go ahead with some of those.
Yeah, well, man, growing up playing sports games, I always liked to play season mode, you know, which is basically franchise mode. But franchise mode, you can really kind of get in depth with the scouting. They actually give you quite a bit of options, which is nice, whether or not you want it to be very in depth or just mostly just play the games. But my gripe here is, man, is that baseball, they're long games, man. You're talking 9 innings, and for whatever reason in franchise mode, you're restricted to playing the full 9 games. You can simulate partway through the game, but for me, man, I don't want to play 160 games or whatever it is in the MLB season at 9 innings a pop, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of baseball. I love baseball, but at least, you know, just I'm going back to NHL like 2000, man. Like, you could actually set up a season that was 40 games instead of 80 or 100 and whatever. So, you know, just a shortened season with the option just to have less innings really would make me dive further into franchise mode, because I was just really kind of taken out of the experience by playing 3 innings, maybe playing 5, and then just simulating the rest, and then either losing or winning, depending, right? Like, just maybe just for whatever reason, just change that, please. That's all I ask.
The Road to the Show is similar to a lot of them, other than the fact that baseball is a very statistical game. I mean, there's so many different fields in this game that we have to upgrade, or we look at how it changes as we develop our players. So there's a lot of information to take in just at the base of everything. And Road to the Show seems to, I don't know, complicate things a little bit. I mean, we go through some of these conversations, like you said, whether it be with coaches or, you know, people in the upper management staff, things like that. And, you know, there's no voiceovers, there's no real tone to it. It's just kind of blah. It's text, it's there. You read through it, you do what you got to do, and you move on. But then we get into loadouts for your players, and depending on how, you know, what position your player plays, and you know where you are on the field at particular games, because like you said, they kind of force this dual position thing on you. And I kind of understand if you're just jumping into this game and Road to the Show is the first game mode you jump into, it kind of helps you learn about pitching and learn about fielding and batting, and they want you to kind of, you know, they want you to get a feel for everything here. And you can choose one over the other if you want to. But I just noticed they kind of every, you know, once in a while they said, hey, you should really jump in and try playing third base instead of pitching this game. And you're like, well, no, I've been pitching this whole time. Like, why do I want to jump in and play third base? Like, it's just weird stuff like that. And then, you know, when you choose these loadouts, there's, you know, 3 different options, but then there's a huge list of options and they all change your statistics just a little bit. And I mean, it was a little hard to keep track of. It was a lot of information to take in. So I think, you know, people that haven't played a game mode like this before may feel overwhelmed. So it, you know, it would have been nice to have it a little more simplified or a little more user friendly at least. But honestly, I'm excited to finally have this game on Xbox, man. The fact that it's on Game Pass was huge. It's open to so many more players. You know, I can be playing on Xbox, you can be playing on PlayStation, then you can bring your character from PlayStation over to Xbox. I mean, that's amazing, man. It's just it's so awesome to have that freedom, and the fact that, you know, the MLB stepped in this year and they said, hey, guess what, Xbox gamers, you guys got this game this year, is huge, man. And that's honestly, I think that's the biggest thing the show has going for it this year. So if we gotta score this game, what are you gonna give it out of 10?
Well, man, like you said, with the accessibility with this game, it is getting a high score. I loved it, man. Also, there is so much depth with either the hitting or the pitching. They have so many different modes that, you know, can really make it feel like a true baseball experience. 8 out of 10 from me, man.
You know what? I think I'm swinging for the fences here too, because I had a ton of fun. You know, the fact that I'm going to have this game year in and year out, hopefully now, is, you know, just going to build on the fact that I'll be able to build through this game and kind of learn all the modes and understand it that much more. You know, I'm not just jumping in casually. This game is for casual gamers, but it is also for the diehards. It has that simulation feel to it, and I'm so glad it's finally on Xbox. I'm giving it an 8 as well.
He's taken him deep once. 1-0 the count. 1 run.
The show is finally on Xbox. With the additions of the Stadium Creator and tweaks to the core game modes, the show is no doubt baseball's best game. But the lack of changes from previous versions can leave the diehard fans of the series wanting more.
Well, that'll be it for today's show. Thank you for hanging out with us. Don't forget, you can always be a part of our show. All you have to do is go to InsideTheGame.ca or hit us up on Discord, just like Flores Duchess did. He submitted his clip and ends off this week's show. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week inside the game.